Hello, I'm Elaine Kuzmeskus, a professional astrologer, and welcome to my channel, Soul Cycles. Today we're going to talk about the planets in April 2024. There's a lot of change on the horizon. To begin with, we have a new moon and eclipse on April 8th at about 19 degrees of Aries. And then we have the full moon at approximately 4 degrees of Scorpio. In between, we've got a lot of people desiring change, wanting to travel, and enjoying the spring. So interesting times. So let's start with the new moon in Aries. The new moon is always a good time to start new projects, to do anything that requires physical exertion, because Aries is a fire sign and likes activity. So it's a good time to get out and plant your garden and enjoy the beautiful outdoors. We also find with the 3 planets in Pisces, Mercury being close to Saturn, we have a more realistic attitude. People are perhaps spending a little less. And at the same time, with Neptune in the sign of Pisces, there's a great desire for spirituality, meditation, positive thinking that is just arriving on the horizon. I think April could be said in some ways to be the best of times and the worst of times, because the best of times will be coming toward the end of April when Jupiter makes a conjunction. Jupiter is the good luck planet, the expansion, the planet that aligns us with our higher self and the better half of humanity. And when it comes close to the planet Uranus of change, here we find people are ready for some positive direction. Change takes time, and I think that people are going to be discussing things to do with the laws in April, Supreme Court decisions. They're going to be reviewing things to do with immigration. Jupiter represents immigration. And looking very close at how we can help the youth, especially people, for example, with student loans, first-time home buyers, and looking to help the millennials. So it'll be an interesting month in general. Well, staying with the new moon in April, starting April 8th at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Check your calendars. Look forward to doing something new. Commit to more positive energy. Start a new habit. Look at things that you would like to change. It's also a good time for exercise and getting out and about. We find also at the same time these wonderful things are taking place. We have a cautionary note because the planet Mars will be squaring Uranus the first couple weeks from about the 8th to about the 16th of April. So you want to take your time. There's a sense of urgency to get things done, but at the same time you need to allow a little bit of extra time for travel, slow down a bit, and for you Aries people out there who like to go, 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 it's time to pick your battles because you can't do it all. But it should be a very positive period. Now, the new moon also aligns with Mercury, which is retrograde. Mercury retrograde will be from April 2nd to the 26th. People get a little nervous with retrograde Mercury. Well, I don't think it's any worse than stopping at a stoplight. Most people, when they come to a stoplight, they just slow down. That's how it is with Mercury retrograde. Time to slow down a little bit, to check your paperwork, dot your I's and cross your T's, because things tend to be a little bit out of sync when Mercury's retrograde. Myself, I would not like to buy a new car or a brand new appliance or make a major purchase unless I really needed it, because I'd rather wait till when Mercury is direct, especially for buying computers or computer software. And remember that we have times when we can look at life a little bit differently, or we're forced to look at life a little bit differently. And I think that often comes during eclipses. And we'll talk more about eclipses, but eclipses are in force for 6 months. So as a nation, we're going through quite a bit of change, redirection, and rerouting. But I'll keep that in mind. So I do hope you'll enjoy the new moon. I hope you'll make some plans, get outdoors, and enjoy the wonderful physicality of a new moon in the sign of Aries. Also, take some time for spirituality, creativity, art, and music. Well, let's talk about the full moon in April 2024. The full moon is going to be approximately 4 degrees of Scorpio on April 24th at 7:49 p.m. But remember, the full moon is in effect the day before and the day after. Now, it's interesting when we talk about moon cycles. In astrology, we say the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So when the moon's in Cancer, it's at home. The moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's very comfortable. But when the moon is in the opposition sign of Scorpio, it is somewhat disgruntled. So when the moon's in Scorpio, tend to create a little more critical environment. People may feel off kilter, or they may feel they want more privacy and to be by themselves. So our sun in Taurus deals with creature comforts, security, but the moon in Scorpio wants more. They are ambitious while the moon's in Scorpio, and they are apt to go a little faster than they should. There's a push while the moon is in Scorpio to get things done, to get answers to complex situations. However, it's not a good time to start a project, but rather a time to finish things up. And I like the moon in Scorpio. My teacher, Dorothy Elaine, used to always say, that's a good time to buy something on sale. It's a good time to buy something that's been repurposed. It's a good time to be aware of the fact of making do with what you have. We also find that the practice of compassion is important when the moon is in Scorpio. And while emotions run high, people can deal with it in different ways. The fact that the moon is in Scorpio making a square to the planet Pluto, which rules the masses, often indicates there could be people and groups that are going to be protesting. And that can be a little difficult. So on the national front, we will find when the moon is square Pluto, and it's pretty close, people feel disenfranchised. They're going to be speaking out more. They're going to be protesting more. And this is especially true for the nation's youth. What are the things that we're concerned about with our nation's youth? Drug addiction, mental health, student loan reform, and also getting proper housing for people, for first-time home buyers, and to be aware of the need for people to get their piece of the American dream. So these are all things that will be play more of a role as we look at the full moon period. At the same time, we have some good news. I always like to finish with good news. And the good news is there's hope on the horizon in the fact that we may find greater leadership, because Jupiter is our leaders. It represents immigration, and it makes an aspect or a conjunction to the dynamic planet of Uranus. And this could play out in many ways. Myself, intuitively, I think it's going to be the new technology coming in that's going to help the labor force, and that's going to be very helpful in the medical field. And we'll be hearing about it toward the end of the month of April. And I think people will be excited. I do believe the United States continues to lead the world in terms of medical and technical innovations, and this is very positive. We also find at the same time our generosity is going to be used in a positive way. So there are many interesting things in April. I think the most important thing is how you use the moon energy in your chart. So when I have seen the moon in Scorpio, especially a full moon in Scorpio, that's a good time to clean out your closets, spruce up the kitchen, get things done in the backyard, and generally make your home environment as clean and organized as possible. And then a little later, when we get the beautiful weather, we can go out and about and not worry too much about the organization and clearing and cleaning that we need to do in the spring. So wherever you are in life, whatever you plan to do during the full moon in April, I hope you enjoy it, benefit from it, and learn from it. And if you'd like more astrology information, you can go to my astrology blog on theartofmediumship.com, which has more information as well as our Aries of the month. Thank you for joining me.